Chapter 11, A Love Story, Part 2. There is a rabies scare in the city. Many children have died after being bitten by infected dogs. The health department is advising citizens to be extra vigilant and take preventative steps. I warn Shankar, be careful when you go outside. Don't go near any dogs. Understood? Shankar nods his head. It's the turn of Bahari the cobbler today. He is the only one who has not asked me for any money till now. Raju, my child Nanhi is very sick and has been admitted to Dr. Agarwal's private clinic. The doctor says I have to buy medicines urgently, which costs a lot of money. I've managed to scrape together 400 so far. Can you please lend me something? I beg you. I give 200 rupees to Bahari, knowing that I'll never get them back. But he is unable to buy all the medicines. 2 days later, 6-year-old Nanhi dies in the clinic. That evening, Bahari comes back to the outhouse with the body of his son covered in a white shroud. He is obviously drunk and walks with unsteady steps. He places his son's dead body in the middle of the cobbled courtyard near the municipal tap and calls everyone out of their rooms. Then he launches into a monologue full of slurred invective. He abuses no one in particular, and yet everyone. He abuses the rich who live in their palatial homes and do not care for the poor who serve them. He abuses the fat cat doctors who fleece their patients. He abuses the government, which make promises only on paper. He abuses all of us for being mute spectators. He abuses his children for being born. He abuses himself for still being alive. He abuses God for creating an unjust world. He abuses the world, the Taj Mahal, Emperor Shah Jahan. Not even the electric bulb hanging outside his house, the one that once gave a shock to Nanhi, or the municipal tap escape his ire. You rotten piece of junk. When we need it, you don't give us 2 drops of water, but when it came to my son, you allowed him to frolic in the water for 2 hours and gave him pneumonia. May you soon be uprooted. May you rust in hell. He curses and kicks the tap. Then, after half an hour of non-stop ranting and raving, he collapses on the ground and begins to sob. He holds his dead son in his arms and wails till his tears run dry, till his voice fails. In my own room, I lie on the bed and think about the iniquities of life. Images of little Nanhi frolicking in the outhouse flit through my mind. I want to cry, but tears refuse to flow from my eyes. I've seen too many dead bodies. So I pull the crisp white sheet up over my head and go off to sleep, and dream of a Taj Mahal in a special shade of brown, with 2 exquisitely shaped domes. I visit Nita again after a week. This time I have to pay the full fee to Shyam, her pimp, 300 rupees. I lie in her soiled bed, make love to her, and listen to her dirty talk. So, do you like being a prostitute? I ask her after our lovemaking. Why? What's wrong with it? It is a profession like any other. But do you like it? Yes, I love sleeping with strangers. Like you, for instance. It gives me enough money to provide for my family, and I get to see a brand new film at the theater every Friday. What more could a girl possibly want? I look into her doe-like eyes and I know she's lying. She's an actress playing a role, except she wouldn't win any awards, like Nilima Kumari. The more Nita seems a mystery, the more desperate I become to know her. She arouses a hunger in me unlike anything I've ever experienced before. So I begin visiting her on Mondays when the Taj Mahal is closed. After 4 or 5 visits, I finally succeed in breaking down her defenses. She tells me that she is a Bedia tribal girl from the Bin district in Madhya Pradesh. Both her parents are still alive, and she has a brother and a sister who's happily married. In her community, it is the tradition for one girl from each family to serve as a communal prostitute, called the bedni. This girl earns money for her family, while the males spend their time drinking alcohol and playing cards. That's why the birth of a girl is an occasion to celebrate in our community, not a cause for gloom. A boy is, in fact, a liability. You can find bednis from my village in brothels, truck stops, hotels, and roadside restaurants, all selling their bodies for money. But why did your mother choose you? She could have chosen your sister. Nita gives a hollow laugh. Because my beauty became a bane. My mother had the right to decide which of her 2 daughters would marry and which one would become the prostitute. She chose me to become the bedni. Perhaps if I had been plain looking like my sister, I would not have been sent here. I might have gone to school, married, and had children. Now I'm in this brothel. This is the price I have to pay for beauty. So don't call me beautiful. And how long have you been doing this? Ever since puberty. Once the Nathni-Utherna ceremony for the removal of the nose ring and the Sardakwana ritual for covering the head are over, you're deemed to have become a woman. So at the age of 12, my virginity was auctioned to the highest bidder, and I was put on sale inside this brothel. But surely if you want, you can quit this profession and get married, can't you? She spreads her hands. Who will marry a prostitute? We're supposed to work till our bodies start to sag, or till we die of disease, whichever sooner. I know you'll find your prince one day, I declare, with tears in my eyes. She doesn't accept any tip from me that day. I reflect later on my conversation with Nita and wonder why I'd lied to her. I didn't really want her to find any other prince. Without realizing it, I'd fallen in love with her. Till now, my conception of love has been based entirely on what I've seen in Hindi films, where the hero and the heroine make eye contact, and whoosh, some strange chemistry sets their hearts beating and their vocal cords tingling. And the next you see of them, they're off singing songs in Swiss villages and American shopping malls. I thought I had experienced that blinding flash of love when I met the girl in the blue salwar kameez in that train compartment. But real love visited me only that winter in Agra. And I realized again that real life is very different from real life. Love doesn't happen in an instant. It creeps up on you, and then it turns your life upside down. It colors your waking moments and fills your dreams. You begin to walk on air and see life in brilliant new shades. But it also brings with it a sweet agony, a delicious torture. My life was reduced to feverish meetings with Nita and pining for her in between. She visited me in the oddest places and at the oddest moments. I visualized her beautiful face even when lecturing a haggard 80-year-old day tripper. I smelt the fragrance of her hair even when sitting on my toilet seat. I got goosebumps thinking of our lovemaking even when buying potatoes and tomatoes from the vegetable market. And I knew in my heart of hearts that she was my princess. The burning ambition of my life was to marry her one day. The consuming worry of my life was whether she would agree. A jeep with a flashing red light has come to the outhouse. An inspector and two constables alight from it. My heart lurches. A cold knot of fear forms in the pit of my stomach. My crimes have finally caught up with me. This is the pattern of my life. Just when I begin to feel on top of things, fate yanks the rug from under my feet. So it is to be expected that just when I have discovered true love, I should be taken away to a jail where, like Emperor Shah Jahan, I will sit in solitary confinement and pine for Nita, my own Mumtaz Mahal. The inspector takes out a megaphone from the jeep to make an announcement. I expect him to say, "Will Ram Muhammad Thomas, alias Raju Sharma, come out with his hands in the air?" But he says instead, "Will all the residents of the outhouse come out? There's been a robbery in the Bank of Agra, and we have reason to believe the thief is here. I have to conduct a search of the premises." When I hear this, I feel a heavy weight lift from my heart. I'm so happy I want to go out and hug the inspector. The constables enter each room in turn and conduct a thorough search. They come to my room and ask me for my name, my age, my occupation, whether I've seen any suspicious characters lurking about in the area. I don't tell them that I'm an unauthorized guide. I say that I'm a student at the university and am new to the outhouse. This satisfies them. They look under my bed, they peer into the kitchen, tap the pots and pans, overturn the mattress, and then move on to the next room. The inspector joins the constables. They're now in Shankar's room. "Yes, what's your name?" the inspector asks Shankar gruffly. Shankar replies, slightly confused. "What? Can you repeat that?" "Bloody bastard, are you making fun of me?" the inspector says angrily and raises his baton to hit Shankar. I quickly intervene. "Inspector Sahib, Shankar has a mental problem. He cannot speak." "Then why didn't you say so before?" He turns to his constables. "Let's go to the next room. We won't get anything out of a lunatic." They search all 30 rooms during the next 3 hours and eventually unearth a cache of currency in the room belonging to Najmi, the bearded poet, who claimed to be a Bollywood songwriter. We're all astonished to discover that our poet is a part-time bank robber as well. Just goes to show that appearances can be deceptive. Well, I can hardly complain. The outhouse wallas would be just as scandalized if they found out about my own checkered past. Lajwanti has come to my room to offer some crumbly fresh ladoos from the nearby Durga temple. She's very excited. Ah, Ray Lajwanti, what are the sweets in aid of? Have you got a raise? I ask her. This is the happiest day of my life. With Goddess Durga's blessings, the sugarcane officer has finally agreed to marry Lakshmi. My sister will now live like a queen. I'm preparing a wedding to beat all weddings. But what about the dowry? Hasn't the groom's family made any demands? No, not at all. They're a very decent family. They do not want any cash. They've only requested some very small things. Like what? Like a Bajaj scooter, a Sumit mixer, 5 Raymond suits, and some gold jewelry. I was, in any case, going to give all of this to Lakshmi. I am scandalized. But Lajwanti, this will cost you a packet, at least a lakh rupees. Where will you get the money from? I've been saving up for Lakshmi's wedding. I've accumulated nearly 50,000 rupees, and I'll borrow another 50,000 from Rani Sahiba. Are you sure she'll give you such a large sum of money? Of course, I'm the best maid she's ever had. Well, good luck then. I continue to meet Nita, but the atmosphere inside the brothel stifles me, and I hate dealing with that shifty eyed pimp, Shyam. So, on Nita's suggestion, we start meeting outside. She goes alone to see films every Friday. I join her. She loves popcorn. I buy her a big packet, and we sit in the back row of the dark and dingy Akash talkies. She eats popcorn and giggles when I slip my hand through her thin muslin dress to feel her soft breasts. At the end of the film, I come out of the hall hot and flushed, not knowing whether I've seen a family drama, a comedy, or a thriller. Because I have eyes only for Nita, and I hope that our own story will turn slowly but surely into an epic romance. Shankar enters my room crying. What's the matter? I ask. He points to his knee. It's cut and bruised. I immediately become concerned. How did you get hurt, Shankar? Did you fall down? Shankar shakes his head. For once, I wish he could speak sense. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Why don't you come outside and show me how you got hurt? Shankar takes me out and points to where the cobbled courtyard joins the main road. There is a little parapet in the corner from which the kids in the outhouse are always jumping up and down. Shankar points to it and indicates his knee. I trace the direction of his finger and nod in understanding. I reckon that he must have jumped down from the parapet and grazed himself. Come, Lajwanti has a medical kit in her room. I'll get her to put a dressing on your wound. I failed to see the mangy little street dog with the black spots huffing on the cobbled pavement, just below the parapet, spit dribbling from its sharp white teeth. A new year has dawned, bringing with it new hopes and new dreams. Nita and I have both turned 18, the legal age for marriage. For the first time, I begin to think about the future and to believe I might even have one. With Nita by my side, I stopped lending money to people in the outhouse. I need every penny now. Today is a Friday, and also the night of the full moon, a very rare combination indeed. I persuade Nita not to go to the movies, but instead to come with me to the Taj Mahal. We sit on the marble pedestal late in the evening and wait for the moon to appear beyond the jets of fountains and the rows of dark green cypresses. First comes a glimmer of silver through the tall trees on our right, as the moon struggles to break free of the cluster of low buildings and foliage. And then, suddenly, it rises majestically in the sky. The curtain of the night is pushed aside, and the Taj Mahal stands revealed in all its glory. Nita and I are awestruck. The Taj appears like a vision of paradise, a silvery apparition risen from the Yamuna River. We clasp hands, oblivious to the hordes of foreign tourists who have paid $50 each for the privilege of seeing the Taj by the light of the full moon. I gaze at the Taj, and then I gaze at Nita. The sterile perfection of the Taj begins to pale in comparison with the flawless beauty of her face, and tears start falling from my eyes with all the love bottled up in my heart for 18 long years coming out in a tumultuous rush. I sense an emotional release like the bursting of a dam and experience for the first time what Emperor Shah Jahan must have felt for Mumtaz Mahal. This is the moment I've been waiting for all my life, and I've practiced for it well. Najmi, the bearded poet, left a book of Urdu poetry for me before going to jail, and I've memorized several romantic verses. In a burst of inspiration, Najmi had even composed an original ghazal in praise of Nita for my use. It went something like this. Your beauty is an elixir which is given an orphan life. Lovesick I will die, from the grave I will cry, should you decline to become my wife. I also recall many immortal dialogues from famous celluloid love stories. But sitting with Nita under the moonlit Taj Mahal, I forsake the world of poetry and film. I look into her eyes and ask her simply, "Do you love me?" And she replies with just one word, "Yes." That one word holds more meaning for me than all the books on poetry and all the guidebooks on Agra. And when I hear it, my heart takes a joyous leap. My mighty love breaks free of the earth, takes wing, and soars into the sky like a kite. And then, for the first time, the Taj Mahal feels like a living house instead of an impersonal tomb. The full moon over our heads becomes a personal satellite, shining a private light, and we feel blessed to be bathed in its celestial glow, in our own exclusive heaven. Shankar comes running to my room. He announces himself and directs me to Lajwanti's room. Lajwanti is crying on her bed, the drops falling from her eyes like pearls darkening the fabric of her creaseless bed cover, and they seem out of place in the Spartan neatness of her room. "What's wrong, Lajwanti? Why are you weeping?" I ask her. "Because of that bitch Swapna Devi. She's refused to give me a loan. Now how will I pay for my sister's wedding?" she says and wails again. "Look, nobody in the outhouse has that kind of money. Can't you get a loan from a bank?" "Huh? Which bank will lend up to a poor maid like me? Now I have only one alternative." "What, to cancel your sister's wedding?" Anger flashes in her eyes. "No, I'll never do that. Perhaps I will have to do what our poet Najmi did, steal the money." I jump up from my chair. "Are you out of your mind, Lajwanti? Don't even think about it. Didn't you see how the police took Najmi away?" "That is because Najmi was a fool. I have a foolproof plan, which I'm going to share with you because you're like my younger brother. Don't mention this to anyone, not even to Shankar. You see, I have seen the location of the safe where Swapna stashes all her precious things. In her bedroom, there is a huge framed painting on the left wall. Behind the painting is a hole where a steel safe is embedded. She keeps the keys to the safe underneath her mattress, in the left-hand corner. I secretly observed her opening the safe once. It's full of money and jewelry. I'm not going to steal the money because that will be detected immediately, but I'm thinking of making off with a necklace. She has so many in the safe she wouldn't even notice. What do you think?" "Lajwanti, listen to me. If you consider me to be your brother, then follow my advice. Don't even think about this idea. Trust me, I've had many brushes with the law, and I know your crime will eventually catch up with you. And then, instead of participating in your sister's wedding, you'll be grinding a mill in some jail." "Oh, you men are all sissies," she says in disgust. "I don't care what you say. I'll do what I have to do." In desperation, I turn to my trusted old coin. "Look, Lajwanti, if you don't believe me, that's fine, but believe in the power of this magic coin. It never sends you the wrong way. So let us see what it says. I'm going to toss it. Heads, you don't carry out your plan. Tails, you do what you want. Okay?" "Okay." I flip the coin. It is heads. Lajwanti sighs. "It looks like even luck is against me. Okay, I'll go to my village and try to raise funds from the headman, who knows me. Forget that we even spoke." 3 days later, Lajwanti locks up her room, takes a week's leave, and departs for her village. "I want you to stop working as a prostitute," I tell Nita. Nita agrees. "I don't want to die before I'm 20 like Rada. Take me away from here, Raju." "I will. Should I have a chat with Shyam about this?" "Yes, we must get his agreement." I speak to the pimp that same evening. "Look, Shyam, I'm in love with Nita, and I want to marry her. She will no longer work in a brothel." Shyam looks me up and down as if I'm an insect. "I see. So you have been giving her all these stupid ideas. Listen, you bastard, no one tells Nita to stop working. Only I can tell her that. And I don't want her to stop working. She is the goose which lays the golden eggs, and I want those eggs to keep coming for a long, long time. That means you'll never allow her to marry?" "I can allow her to marry, but only on one condition, that the man who marries her agrees to compensate me for my loss of earnings." "And how much is your estimated loss of earnings?" "Let's say 4 lakh rupees. Can you get me that sum of money?" He laughs and dismisses me. I check my savings that night. I have a total of 480 rupees, leaving a shortfall of only 399,000 520. I feel so angry I want to strangle the pimp. Shyam will never agree to you marrying me, I tell Nita the next day. The only option for us is to run away. No, Nita says fearfully. The brothel people are bound to find us. Champa tried to run away last year with a man. They found her, broke the man's legs, and starved her for 10 days. In that case, I'll just have to kill Shyam, I say with a malevolent glint in my eyes. No, Nita says, vehemently. Promise me you'll never do that. I'm taken by surprise. But why? Because Shyam is my brother. A jeep with a flashing red light has come to the outhouse. Constables pour out. This time, there's a new inspector. We're all called out again. Listen, all you good-for-nothings, something very serious has happened. Someone has stolen a very precious emerald necklace from Swapna Devi's house. I have a strong suspicion that the thief is one of you bastards, so I am giving you the opportunity to come clean with it. Otherwise, when I catch the thief, I'm going to give him a hiding. I am completely concerned about Lajwanti, but when I see the lock on her room and remember she's in her village, I heave a sigh of relief. It's good she dropped that ridiculous idea of stealing the necklace. She thought Swapna Devi wouldn't notice the loss, and now the police are onto it in a flash. One by one, all of us are questioned. When Shankar's turn comes, the same scene is reenacted. Name? Asks the inspector. Shankar replies. What did you say? Bastard, are you trying to get smart with me? The inspector says through gritted teeth. I explain again, and the inspector relents. He waves Shankar away. This time the policemen go away empty-handed, without any necklace and without any suspect. That same evening, a mangy little street dog with black spots dies near the Taj Mahal. No one takes any notice of this fact. Lajwanti returns from her village the next day and is immediately arrested. A sweaty constable drags her from her room to the jeep with the flashing red light. She wails inconsolably. Helplessly, I watch the spectacle unfold. I'm with Abdul, who works as a gardener in Swapna Palace. Abdul, why are the police taking Lajwanti away? Why doesn't Rani Sahiba do something? After all, Lajwanti's the best mate she's ever had. Abdul grins. Madam has herself called the police to arrest Lajwanti. But why? Because Lajwanti stole the necklace from her safe. The police searched her house in the village and found it today. But how did Swapna Devi know it was Lajwanti who stole the necklace? She wasn't even here when the robbery took place. Because she left behind a telltale sign. You see, she did not go to her village straight away. She stayed in Agra and waited for an opportunity to break into the house unnoticed. When she finally entered the bedroom to steal the necklace, Madam was at a party. But just before leaving the party, Madam had combed her hair on the bed, and there were a few of her pins and clips lying on the satin bedspread. When Madam returned late at night, she discovered all her pins and clips neatly arranged on her dressing table. This immediately alerted her. She checked her safe and found a necklace was missing, so she knew instantly that it could have been none other than Lajwanti. I thumped my forehead. Lajwanti couldn't resist being the perfect maid, even when on a mission to steal. I try to intercede with Swapna Devi on Lajwanti's behalf, but she rebuffs me with icy disdain. I run a household, not a charity. Why did she have to arrange such a lavish wedding for her sister? You people who are poor should never try to overreach yourselves. Stay within your limits, and you won't get into trouble. I feel genuine hatred towards her that day, but perhaps she's right. Lajwanti made the cardinal mistake of trying to cross the dividing line, which separates the existence of the rich from that of the poor. She made the fatal error of dreaming beyond her means. The bigger the dream, the bigger the disappointment. That is why I have small, manageable dreams, like marrying a prostitute after paying off her crooked pimp brother the minor sum of 400,000 rupees. Only. I have barely recovered from Lajwanti's arrest when another tragedy strikes me. Shankar comes coughing to my room and flops down on the bed. He looks tired and complains of pain in his arms and knees. He's flapping his hands. I check his forehead and find that he has a slight fever. You've caught a chill, Shankar, I tell him. Go to your room and rest. I'll come around soon to give you some medicine. He gets up from the bed and tiptoes to his room. He seems breathless and irritable. Later that night, I give Shankar some painkillers, but his condition continues to deteriorate. By the second day, he is becoming violent. He is unable to move his arm and shrieks when the light is switched on. With great difficulty, I manage to take his temperature and am shocked to discover that it has shot up to 103 degrees. I immediately go out to call a doctor. The physician working in the government dispensary flatly refuses to come with me, so I'm forced to go to a private doctor. He charges me 80 rupees to come to the outhouse. He examines Shankar and asks me whether I've noticed any recent cuts or bruises on him. I tell him about the grazed knee. The doctor nods his head and pronounces the diagnosis. Shankar's got rabies, probably from a mad dog. He should have had a series of injections of human diploid cell vaccine and human rabies immune globulin as soon as he was infected. But now it's too late. His condition's very serious. He'll soon develop an aversion to water. He might show signs of agitation and confusion and even have hallucinations. He could have muscle spasms and seizures, and he may stop speaking completely as the vocal cords become paralyzed. Finally, he will slip into a coma and stop breathing. In simple language, he will die, and all within 48 hours. The doctor explains this catalog of horrors in his normal bedside manner. I'm utterly devastated. Even thinking about Shankar's death brings tears to my eyes. Doctor, is there absolutely nothing that can be done to save Shankar? I implore him. Well, the doctor hesitates. There was nothing till a month ago, but I'm told a brand new experimental vaccine from America has just been imported to India. It's called Rabcure, and it's only available at the Gupta pharmacy. The one in Rakabganj? Yes, but I don't think you can afford it. How much does it cost? I ask with a sinking heart. Approximately 4 lakh rupees. I reflect on the irony of the situation. Shankar's treatment requires 4 lakh rupees, and Nita's pimp has also demanded exactly this amount. And I have the princely sum of 400 rupees in my pocket. I do not know where I will get the money for Shankar's treatment, but I know that he cannot be left alone. So I decide to take him to my room. I pick him up in my arms. Even though he is almost my age, his body seems weightless. His hands and legs droop limply by his side, and it feels as if I'm not carrying a living person, but a sack of potatoes. I deposit Shankar on my bed and lie down on the ground, in an exact reversal of what he did for me almost 2 years ago, although it now seems like 20. Shankar tosses and turns and sleeps fitfully. I too have a difficult night, my sleep interspersed with nightmares about mad dogs and babies who speak only in nonsense syllables. And then suddenly, in the middle of the night, I seem to hear the words, "Mummy, Mummy," shouted loudly. I wake up and find Shankar sleeping peacefully. I rub my eyes and wonder whether Shankar's dream had unexpectedly intersected with mine. The whole of the next day, Shankar stays in bed, getting weaker and weaker. I know that he's under a sentence of death, but I pretend he's got nothing more than a mild case of flu. It breaks my heart to see his gentle face and to imagine that I'll never see it again. Even his nonsense syllables today seem like profound statements which should be memorized. Night comes and Shankar begins having spasms in his arms. He has difficulty taking in fluid and eats just one chapati with lentils, his favorite dish. His forehead burns. I take his temperature and find it has shot up to 105 degrees. He begins crying. I try to comfort him as best as I can, but it's difficult to give strength to another when you yourself feel completely hollow inside. I sleep fitfully again, tormented by the demons of my past. Late that night, when it's almost 2 o'clock, I hear a sound coming from Shankar's bed, like someone moaning. I get up slowly, still quite disoriented. I look at Shankar's face. His eyes are closed, but his lips are moving. I strain to hear what he is mumbling and almost jump out of my skin, because I swear Shankar says, "Please don't beat me, Mummy." Shankar! I scramble to his bed. You just said something, didn't you? But Shankar is completely oblivious to me, lost in his own private world. His eyes are lolling upwards, and he's clearly delirious. His chest convulses as if in a spasm, and phlegm drips from his mouth. Why did you throw me out, Mummy? He mumbles. I'm sorry, I should have knocked. How could I know Uncle was inside with you? I love you, Mummy. I draw pictures of you. My blue diary is full of pictures. Your pictures. I love you, Mummy. I love you very much. Don't hit me, Mummy. I promise I won't tell anyone, Mummy. Shankar speaks in the voice of a 6-year-old. He has regressed to a long-lost time. To a time when he had a mother, to a time when his life and his words had a meaning. I do not know how he can suddenly speak so sensibly and lucidly when the doctor said he would stop speaking completely, but I have no desire to find out the reason. One doesn't question a miracle. That is all I hear from Shankar that night. And when he wakes up the next morning, he becomes the same 16-year-old who speaks in nonsense syllables. But I remember his reference to a blue diary. I search his room and find it hidden underneath his bed. It contains loose sheets of drawing paper, all with beautiful pencil drawings of a woman. The drawings are very accurate, down to the last detail. But I stand transfixed not by the excellence of the drawings, but by the identity of their subject, because the woman in the pictures is Swapna Devi. I know what you've been hiding from me all this while, Shankar. I know that Swapna Devi is your mother, I tell Shankar, holding aloft the blue diary. His eyes dilate with fear, and he tries to grab the diary from my hands. He shrieks. I know it's true, Shankar. I think you discovered her dirty secret, and that is why she threw you out of the house. And that's when you lost the ability to speak like a normal boy. I think your mother has lived with this guilt all her life. Perhaps for this reason, she pays your rent and gives you money. But I'm going to your mummy right now to ask her to pay for your treatment. He cries, but I have already set off for Swapna Palace for a heart-to-heart chat with Rani Sahiba. Rani Sahiba refuses to meet me at first, claiming that she meets people only by appointment. I camp on her doorstep for 2 hours until finally she relents. Yes, why have you come to bother me? She asks insolently. I know your secret, Swapna Devi, I tell her to her face. I've discovered that Shankar is your son. Her regal mask slips for an instant, and her face turns pale, but she regains her composure equally swiftly, and her haughty manner returns to freeze me with contempt. You worthless boy! How dare you make such a scurrilous allegation? I have no relationship with Shankar. Just because I showed a little bit of sympathy for that boy, you've made him my son? Get out of here right now, or I'll have you thrown out. I'll go, I tell her, but only after collecting 4 lakh rupees from you. I need the money for Shankar's treatment. He has contacted rabies. Are you out of your mind? You think I will give you 4 lakhs? She thrills. But if I don't get the money, Shankar will die of hydrophobia within 24 hours. I don't care what you do, but don't bother me. And then she says the most spiteful thing I have ever heard a mother say. Perhaps it's best that he dies. The poor boy will be put out of his misery. And don't you dare repeat that lie to anyone about him being my son. She closes the door. I stand on her doorstep with tears in my eyes. I was at least lucky enough to have been discarded by my mother at birth. But poor Shankar was cast off by his mother midway through life. And now she's refusing to lift a finger even to prevent his imminent death. I return to Shankar's room with a heavy heart. Swapna Devi's words resonate in my ears with the force of a hammer blow. She wants Shankar to die like a rabid dog. At no other time has my poverty riled me as much as it does now. I wish I could explain to the dog that bit Shankar that before biting, he should have checked whether the person he was attacking could afford the antidote. The next day, I do something which I have not done for a decade. I pray. I go to the Durga temple and offer flowers for Shankar's recovery. I go to the Church of St. John and light a candle for Shankar. I go to the Kali Masjid and bow my head before Allah, asking him to have mercy upon Shankar. But even the power of prayer proves to be insufficient. All day, Shankar remains in agony, with pain in virtually all parts of his body. His breathing becomes more irregular. Night falls. It is moonless, but it does not appear so in the outhouse, because of the reflected glow of the 1,000 lights which have lit up Swapna Palace like a giant candle. There is a party in the palace. The police commissioner has come, as well as the district magistrate, and a whole host of businessmen, socialites, journalists, and writers. The sound of soft music and laughter drifts down to the outhouse. We hear the clink of wine glasses and the buzz of conversation, the jingle of money. In my room, there is an eerie silence, broken only by Shankar's labored breathing. Every half hour or so, his body is racked by convulsions. He is most bothered by the constriction in his throat, where a viscous, stringy spittle has formed, causing him great discomfort. Now he goes into a spasm even at the sight of a glass of water. The slightest gust of air produces the same result. Of the many ailments a person can die from, perhaps the cruelest is hydrophobia, where water, which is supposed to give life, becomes the cause of death. Even a cancer patient is able to entertain some hope, but a rabies patient has none. Watching Shankar's slow death, I can only imagine how utterly heartless Swapna Devi must be to allow her son to die in this horrible fashion while she's having a party in her house. It's lucky that I threw that Colt revolver into the river. Otherwise, I would definitely be committing another murder tonight. As the night progresses, Shankar's spasms become more frequent. He shrieks in agony and begins foaming at the mouth. I know that the end is near. Shankar finally dies at 12:47 a.m. Just before dying, he has another lucid moment. He holds my hand and utters a single word, Raju, and then he clutches his blue notebook and cries out, Mummy, Mummy, and then he closes his eyes forever. Agra has become the city of death. I have a dead body in my room and a blue notebook in my hands. I flip through the pages aimlessly, staring at pencil sketches of a woman who was a heartless mother. No, I will not call her mother, because to say that would be an insult to all mothers. I do not know how to react to Shankar's death. I could scream and shout like Bahari. I could abuse all the gods in heaven and all the powers on earth. I could batter down a door, throw some furniture, kick a lamppost, and then I would break down and cry. But today the tears refuse to come. A slow, molten rage builds up in my guts. I tear the pages from the notebook and shred them into tiny little pieces. Then all of a sudden, I pick up Shankar in my arms and proceed toward the lighted palace. The uniformed guards bar my way, but as soon as they see the dead body in my hands, they hastily open the gate. I pass along the curved driveway where the expensive imported cars of the guests are lined up one after another. I reach the ornate entrance and find it open and welcome. I pass through the marbled foyer into the dining room where the guests are about to be served dessert. All conversation ceases the moment they see me. I climb on the table and place Shankar's body gently in the middle, in between a creamy vanilla cake and a bowl of rasagullas. The waiters stand still as statues. The smartly attired businessmen cough and shift uncomfortably in their seats. The ladies take hold of their necklaces. The district magistrate and the police commissioner watch me with worried eyes. Swapna Devi, sitting at the head of the table, clad in a heavy silk sari and loaded with jewelry, looks as if she's going to choke. She tries to open her mouth, but finds her vocal cords paralyzed. I look directly at her with as much contempt as I can muster, and speak. Mrs. Swapna Devi, if this is your palace, and you are its queen, then acknowledge your prince. I have come to deliver the dead body of your son, Kunwar Shankar Singh Gautam, to you. He died half an hour ago in the outhouse where you have kept him hidden all these years. You did not pay for his treatment. You did not fulfill the duty of a mother. Now honor your obligation as a landlady. Please pay for the funeral of your penniless tenant. I say my piece, nod at the guests who watch in frozen silence, and walk out of that stuffy palace into the cool night. I'm told no one had dessert. Shankar's death affects me deeply. I sleep, cry, and sleep again. I stop going to the Taj Mahal. I stop meeting Nita. I stop seeing films. I press the pause button on my life. For a fortnight or so after Shankar's death, I roam around Agra like a crazed animal. Shakil, the university student, finds me standing outside Shankar's room one evening, staring at the lock on the door like a drunkard looks at a bottle of whiskey. Bahari, the cobbler, discovers me sitting next to the municipal tap, with water dripping from my eyes instead of from the tap. Abdul, the gardener at Swapna Palace, catches me tiptoeing around the outhouse, like Shankar used to do. In the peak of winter, the city becomes a hot and lonely desert for me. I try to lose myself in its anarchic existence. I try to become a nonsense syllable in its ceaseless chatter. And I almost succeed in sending myself into a stupor. By the time I wake up, it is too late. There is a phone call at the local public call office, and Shakil comes running to tell me. Raju, someone called Nita phoned. She wants you at the emergency ward of Singhania Hospital, right now. My heart leaps to my mouth when I hear this, and I run the entire 3 miles to Singhania Hospital. I narrowly avoid crashing into a doctor, almost overturn a trolley, and charge into the emergency ward like an inspector bursting in on an armed robbery. Where's Nita? I demand of a bewildered nurse. I'm here, Raju. Nita's voice sounds weak. She is behind a curtained partition, lying on a trolley. One look at her and I almost faint from shock. She has livid bruises all over her face, and her lips are peculiarly twisted, as if her jaw has been dislocated. There is blood on two of her teeth, and her left eye is blackened. Who? Who's done this to you? I ask, barely recognizing my own voice. She has difficulty speaking. It was a man from Mumbai. Shyam sent me to his room at the Palace Hotel. He tied me up and did all this to me. What you see on my face is nothing. See what he did to my body. Nita turns on her side, and I see deep red welt marks on her slim back, as if someone has used a horsewhip. Then she pushes up her blouse, and I almost die. There are cigarette burn marks all over her chest, looking like ugly pock marks on the smooth brown flesh of her breasts. I've seen this before. My blood begins to boil. I know who's done this to you. Did he say his name? I'll kill him. I don't know his name, but he was tall and... Shyam enters the room at this point, clutching a packet of medicine. He takes one look at me and goes berserk. You bastard! He yells and catches me by the collar. How dare you come here? It's only because of you that this happened to Nita. Are you out of your mind, Shyam? I cry out. No, it's you who's mad. You think Nita is your personal property, and you've been telling her to quit the profession and not oblige customers any longer. Do you know how much this party from Mumbai paid for her? 5,000 rupees. But my sister believed you. She must have resisted him, and look what happened. Now let me tell you something. If you want to see Nita again, then come to me with 4 lakh rupees. If you cannot produce this sum, then forget about Nita. If I ever see you lurking about the hospital, I'll have you killed. Understand? Now get out. I could have killed Shyam that very instant, throttled him and choked the breath out of his lungs, or gouged out his eyes with my fingernails. But I remembered the promise I'd made to Nita and somehow kept my simmering anger in check. I could not bear to see Nita's face any longer and left the emergency ward. I knew only one thing. Somehow I had to get a hold of 4 lakh rupees. But from where? I make my plans and wait for an occasion when Swapna Devi is not at home. 2 nights later, I see Rani Sahiba being driven away in her Contessa car to yet another party in town, and I break into the grounds of Swapna Palace through a hole in the boundary wall. Lajwanti had explained to me the detailed topography of the house, and I have no difficulty in locating the window which opens into Swapna Devi's bedroom. I jimmy open the window and step inside her lavish bedroom. I have no time to admire her massive carved walnut bed or the teak dressing table. I look only for a large framed painting and discover it on the left wall. It is a brightly colored picture of horses, and it is signed by someone called Hussein. I hastily remove the picture from its hook, and I discover a square hole in the wall, where a steel safe is embedded. I look underneath the left-hand corner of the mattress and find that there is no key there. I'm momentarily put off balance, but relieved to discover the key is in the right-hand corner. The key fits perfectly into the lock, and the heavy door swings open slowly. I look inside the safe and get another shock. It's practically empty. There are no emerald necklaces and gold bangles. There are just 4 thin stacks of currency, some legal documents, and a black and white photo of a toddler. I don't have to look very closely to know that it's Shankar's picture. I feel no qualms about stealing from the safe. I stuff the 4 bundles into my pockets, close the safe, return the painting and the key to their original locations, and exit the way I came. I rush to my room in the outhouse, lock the door behind me, and sit down to count the loot. The 4 bundles total 399,844 rupees. I rummage through all my pockets and find 156 rupees there. Together, they make exactly 4 lakh rupees. Looks like even Goddess Durga has given me her blessings. I put the money in a brown paper bag, hold it tightly in my right hand, and rush to the hospital. As I'm entering the emergency ward, a bespectacled middle-aged man with an unshaven face and unkempt hair barges into me. I fall down on the tiled floor, and the brown packet slips from my grasp. The currency notes tumble out of the bag. The man sees the notes, and a maniacal glint enters his eyes. He starts picking up the notes like an excited little child. For a second, I freeze, wondering whether I'm seeing a repeat of the train robbery. But after collecting all the notes, the man returns them to me and folds his hands. This money is yours, but I beg you, brother, please lend it to me. Save the life of my son. He is only 16. I cannot bear to see him die. He implores like a beggar. I hastily stuff the notes back into the brown paper bag and try to get rid of him. What's the matter with your son? He was bitten by a mad dog. Now he has got hydrophobia. The doctor says he'll die tonight unless I can buy the vaccine called Rabcure, which is only available at the Gupta pharmacy. But it costs 4 lakh rupees, and there's no way a school teacher like me can raise such a huge sum of money. I know you have that money, brother. I beg you, save my son's life, and I will become your slave for life, he says and begins crying like a baby. This money is required for the treatment of someone dear to me. I'm sorry I cannot help you, I say and enter through the glass door. The man runs after me and catches hold of my feet. Please wait a minute, brother. Just see this picture. This is my son. Tell me, how can I live if he dies tonight? He holds out a color photo of a young, good-looking boy. He has expressive black eyes and a warm smile on his lips. He reminds me of Shankar, and I hastily look away. I told you, I'm sorry. Please don't trouble me, I say and extricate my legs from his arms. I don't look back to see whether he's still following me, but hurry over to Nita's bed. Shyam and another man from the brothel are sitting on chairs like guards in front of Nita. They're eating samosas from soggy newspaper. Nita appears to be sleeping. Her face is heavily bandaged. Yes, says Shyam, chomping on a samosa. Why have you come? I've got the money you asked for. Exactly 4 lakh rupees. Look. I show him the bundle of notes. Shyam whistles. Where did you get all this money from? That's none of your business. I've come to take Nita away with me. Nita's not going anywhere. The doctors say it will take her 4 months to recover. And since you're responsible for her injuries, you'd better pay for her treatment as well. She requires plastic surgery. It's bloody expensive, costing me nearly 2 lakhs. So if you really want Nita, come back with 6 lakhs, or my friend here will take care of you. The man sitting alongside Shyam takes out a switchblade from his pocket and twirls it in his fingers like a barber about to shave a customer's beard. He grins evilly, showing pan-stained teeth. I know then that Nita will never be mine, that Shyam will never let her go, that even if I somehow bring 6 lakhs, Shyam will increase the demand to 10 lakhs. My mind seems to go numb, and I see blackness all around me. A wave of nausea assails me. When I recover, I see soggy newspapers lying on the floor. It has an advertisement showing the face of a man who is grinning and holding a several thousand rupee notes in his fingers. Underneath the picture is a caption that says, Welcome to the greatest show on television. Welcome to W3B. Who will win $1 billion? Phone lines are open. Call now or write us to see if you will be the lucky winner of the biggest jackpot on earth. I look at the address given in the advertisement. It says Prem Studios, Car, Mumbai. I know in that moment that I am going to Mumbai. I step out of the emergency ward as if in a trance. The antiseptic smell of the hospital doesn't irritate my senses any longer. The bespectacled man is still in the corridor. He looks at me with hopeful eyes, but doesn't try to accost me this time. Perhaps he has reconciled himself to his son's death. I still have the brown paper bag in my hand. I gesture to him. He comes shuffling to me like a dog expecting a bone. Here, take this. I hand over the bag. It has 4 lakh rupees inside. Go and save your son's life. The man takes the packet, falls down at my feet, and begins crying. You are not a man. You are a god, he says. I laugh. If I were a god, we wouldn't need hospitals. No, I was just a small tourist guide with big dreams. I say and try to move forward, but he bars my way again. He takes out a worn leather wallet from his pocket and extracts a card. The money you've given me is a debt I owe you. This is my card. I will repay it as soon as I can, but from this moment, I am your servant. I don't think I'll need you. In fact, I don't think I'll need anyone in Agra. I'm going to Mumbai. I tell him in an absent-minded way and slip his card into my shirt pocket. The man looks at me again with tearful eyes, then rushes out of the hospital, running towards Rakabganj and the all-night Gupta pharmacy. I'm just about to step outside the hospital when a jeep with a flashing red light comes screeching to a halt. An inspector and 2 constables jump out. 2 more men emerge from the back of the seat, whom I recognize. One is a guard at Swapna Palace, and the other is Abdul, the gardener. The guard points at me. Inspector Sahib, that's that boy Raju. He's the one who has stolen Rani Sahiba's money. The inspector instructs me, his constables. Since we found nothing in the room, the cash must be on him. Check his pockets. The constables grope through my shirt and trousers. They find a small packet of bubble gum, some corn kernels, and a 1 rupee coin, which doesn't seem lucky any longer. He's clean, Sahib. He doesn't have any money. One of the constables replies. Really? Still, let's take him in for questioning. We'll find out where he was this evening, the inspector says brusquely. I reply, my lips twisting in a deformed way, like Shankar. What did you just say? I didn't get it, says the inspector, a little baffled. What is this nonsense? The inspector says angrily. Are you trying to make fun of me? I'll teach you a lesson. He raises his baton to strike me, but Abdul intervenes. Please don't hit him, Inspector Sahib. Raju has become mentally unbalanced since his friend Shankar's death. Shankar also used to speak like this. Oh, is that the case? Then why did you even think of him as a suspect? We won't get anything out of a lunatic. Come, let's go. He gestures to his constables. Then he looks at me. Sorry to have bothered you. You can go home now. I am sitting on Smita's bed with tears from my eyes. Smita takes my hand in hers and gently squeezes it. I notice that her eyes, too, are misting with tears. Poor Shankar, she says. From what you've told me, he seems to have been an autistic child. What a horrible death he endured. You've really gone through hell, Thomas. You didn't deserve all that pain. But my hell is still preferable to Nita's. Just imagine what she had to undergo since the age of 12. Smita nods her head. Yes, I can imagine. Is she still in Agra? She should be, but I can't know for sure. I've had no news of her for the last 4 months. I don't know whether I'll ever see her again. I'm sure you will. Now, let's see the penultimate question. The studio sign says silence, but the audience refuses to heed it. They point at me and chatter excitedly among themselves. I am the idiot waiter who has staked 100 million rupees on one question. Prem Kumar addresses the camera. We now move on to question number 11 for 10 crores. Believe me, I am getting goosebumps just thinking about it. So, Mr. Thomas, are you getting nervous? No. That's amazing. Here you are, gambling with 10 million rupees you've already won, and you don't even feel a trace of anxiety. Remember, if you give the wrong answer, you lose everything. But if you give the correct answer, 100 million rupees are yours. No one has ever won such a large amount, not even in a lottery. So let us see whether history is about to be made right here, right now. Okay, here comes question number 11, and it is from the world of... Prem Kumar pauses for dramatic effect, then completes the sentence. English literature! The studio sign changes to applause. Tell me, Mr. Thomas, do you have some knowledge of English literature? Have you read English books, plays, poems? Well, I can recite Ba Ba Black Sheep, if that's what you mean, by English poetry. The audience laughed loudly. I must confess I had something slightly more complex in mind. But never mind. You must have heard of Shakespeare. Shake who? You know, the Bard of Avon, the greatest playwright in the English language. Oh, how I wish I could return to my college days, when I spent all my time acting in Shakespeare plays. Do any of you remember your Hamlet? To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take the arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. But enough of me. It is Mr. Thomas who has to answer the next question, and here it comes for the astronomical sum of 100 million rupees. In which play by Shakespeare do we find the character Custode? Is it A, King Lear, B, The Merchant of Venice, C, Love's Labor Lost, or D, Othello? The music commences. I stare blankly at Prem Kumar. Tell me, Mr. Thomas, do you have any clue at all as to what we're talking about here? No. No? Then what do you propose to do? You must give an answer, even if it is based on the toss of a coin. Who knows, if your luck continues to hold, you might just hit on the correct reply and win 100 million rupees. So what's your decision? My mind goes blank. I know I have been cornered at last. I think for 30 seconds and then make up my mind. I'll use a lifeboat. Prem Kumar looks at me quizzically. It seems he has forgotten that this game has something called lifeboats. He snaps awake at last. A lifeboat! Yes, of course, you have both your lifeboats available. Tell me, which one do you want to use? You can either ask for the half and half, or go for a friendly tip. I am confused again. Who can I turn to for an answer to this question? Salim will be as clueless as me. The owner of Jimmy's Bar would have as much awareness of Shakespeare as a drunk has of direction. And literature is as far from the minds of the residents of Dharavi as honesty is from the police. Only Father Timothy could have helped me on this question, and he is dead. Should I ask for half and half? I insert my fingers into my shirt pocket to take out my trusted old coin, and am surprised to brush against the edge of a card. I pull it out. It's a visiting card which says, Utpal Chatterjee, English teacher, St. John's School, Agra, and then it gives a phone number. I don't understand at first. I have no recollection of anyone by this name, or even how this card got into my shirt pocket. And then, all of a sudden, I remember the scene at the hospital. The bespectacled, unkempt man with a 16-year-old son dying of hydrophobia. An involuntary cry escapes my lips. Prem Kumar hears it and looks at me sharply. Excuse me, what did you say? I said, can you please call this gentleman? I hand over the card to Prem Kumar. I'm using my friendly tip lifeboat. Prem Kumar turns over the card in his fingers. I see. So you do know someone who can help you with this question. He has a worried look on his face. He makes eye contact with the producer. The producer spreads his hands. The word lifeboat flashes on the screen. We see the animation of a boat chugging along the sea, a swimmer shouting for help and being thrown a red life buoy. Prem Kumar picks up the cordless phone from underneath his desk and passes it to me. Here you are. Ask whatever you want from whoever you want, but you only have 2 minutes and your time starts. He looks at his watch. Now. I take the phone and dial the number on the card. The call goes through, and the phone starts ringing on the other end in Agra. But it simply rings and rings and rings, and nobody picks it up. Half a minute passes. The suspense in the studio could be cut with a knife. The audience is watching me with bated breath. To them, I am no different from a trapeze artist in a circus, doing a high-wire act without any safety net below. One false move, and the trapeze artist will plunge to his death. 90 more seconds and I'll lose 100 million rupees. Just when I'm about to hang up and someone picks up the phone, I've just over a minute left now. Hello? Hello? Can I speak to Mr. Utpal Chatterjee? I say hurriedly. Speaking? Mr. Chatterjee, I am Ra Mohammed Thomas. Ra Mohammed what? Thomas, you may not know my name, but I helped you out in Singania Hospital, where your son was hospitalized. Do you remember? Oh my God. Suddenly the tone changes. I've been desperately seeking for you the last 4 months. Thank God you've called. You saved my son's life. You have no idea how much I've tried to. I cut him short. Mr. Chatterjee, I do not have much time. I am a participant in a quiz show, and I need you to quickly answer a question for me. A question? Yes, of course. I'm ready to do whatever you want. Less than 30 seconds are left now. All eyes are on the wall clock, busily ticking away the seconds. Tell me, very quickly, in which one of Shakespeare's plays is there a character called Costard? Is it A, King Lear, B, The Merchant of Venice, C, Love's Labor Lost, or D, Othello? The seconds tick away, and there is silence from Chatterjee. Mr. Chatterjee, can you tell me the answer? Only 15 seconds are left by the time Chatterjee replies. I don't know. I'm dumbfounded. What? I'm sorry, I don't know the answer. Rather, I'm not sure. I don't remember this character in The Merchant of Venice or Othello. It's either from King Lear or Love's Labor Lost. I'm just not sure which. But I can only give one answer. Then go for Love's Labor Lost. But as I said, I'm not very sure. Sorry I can't be more helpful. Prem Kumar cuts him off. Sorry, Mr. Thomas, your 2 minutes are up. I need your reply now. The music in the background doesn't sound suspenseful any longer. It's positively chilling. I go into a deep thought. Mr. Thomas, how well do you know this Mr. Chatterjee? Prem Kumar asks me. I've met him just once. And how good an English teacher is he? I have no idea. So can you trust his reply, or would you rather go by your own instinct? I make up my mind. I'll go by my instinct, and my instinct tells me to trust the answer given by Mr. Chatterjee. It's C. Love's labor lost. Think again. Remember, you give me the wrong answer, and you not only don't win 100 million rupees, you also lose the 10 million rupees you've won till now. My final answer is still C. Are you absolutely 100% sure? Yes. I'm asking again. Are you absolutely 100% sure? Yes. There is a crescendo of drums. The correct answer flashes on the screen. Oh my God, it is C. You are absolutely 100% correct. From Kumar stands up. Ramahamid Thomas, you are the first person on this show to have won 100 million rupees. Ladies and gentlemen, history has been made. And now we simply have to take a break. The audience goes wild. Everyone stands up and claps for more than a minute. Prem Kumar's face is flushed. He's perspiring profusely. So how do you feel? He asks me. I reply as Shankar would. Prem Kumar looks baffled. Excuse me, what did you say? I said I feel great, I reply and look up. I see Shankar smiling at me from above, and it seems that Goddess Durga is really looking out for me tonight.